Have you ever, dismissed someone at first glance, maybe thought they were just grumpy or stuck in their ways?
Oh, definitely. It happens all the time.
And then later, you find out there's this whole hidden depth, maybe unexpected kindness or just stories you never imagined.
Exactly.
Well, that feels a bit like what we're doing today. We're exploring the character of Ove from Fredrik Backman's novel, A Man Called Ove.
He's quite the character. Definitely makes a strong first impression.
He does. And we're going to use moments from the book, sort of peel back the layers of his personality. It's a bit like the kind of reflection you might find on, say, the YouTube channel Mindful Moments.
Oh, right. They use AI for book analysis, don't they, to get you thinking?
Yeah, exactly. Inspiring that kind of critical thinking, which is our aim too. Trying to understand Ove beyond just the surface grumpiness.
Well, the first thing that hits you, really, is that contrast. You have this often abrupt exterior, but underneath, there are these surprisingly consistent principles.
Like his battles with technology.
Absolutely. The whole OPAD thing, he pictures it as a scooter riding box and tracksuit pants?
Yeah, that's it.
It's funny, sure, but it also really signals his suspicion, doesn't it? His resistance to this world that's changing around him, disrupting his order.
And the poor sales assistant trying to explain the MacBook or MacBook, you could feel the frustration.
Right. It highlights that generational gap, but also deep, deep skepticism about anything newfangled.
And it's not just gadgets, is it? It's his whole approach to the neighborhood.
No, not at all. The rules. His almost, obsessive need for the rules to be followed. The garage checks, triple checking his own.
And logging the license plates of guest parking.
And calling people useless, bloody imbeciles if they stay too long. It seems over the top, almost comical.
But it points to something deeper, right? This fear of chaos.
Exactly. It's like he truly believed that if you let one rule slip, everything would just unravel. Society depends on these principles for him.
Which explains his push for surveillance cameras in the trash room.
Yeah, arguing that, honest intentions have nothing to fear from the truth. It's all about order, control, and this very black and white view of right and wrong.
He really distrusted the modern way of doing things. Computers and consultants.
Oh, yeah. Definite disdain there. That feeling that no one takes responsibility anymore. He saw people changing jobs, cars, even wives too easily. It all felt flimsy to him.
And then, just as he's sort of contemplating his own escape, maybe setting up that hook, bam, the real world intrudes.
The trailer crashing into his house, it's almost symbolic, isn't it? The very disorder he tries so hard to keep out just barges right in.
That immediately leads to friction with the new neighbors, Provina and Patrick.
Oh, straight away. Calling her the pregnant foreign woman and him the lanky one. Not exactly welcoming.
No, that whole piss, there's piss all over the place here. Line when he sees the trailer damage, it's just pure Ove. Rude, abrasive.
It just shows how much he resists being disturbed, any disruption to his routine, his space, even the doorbell ringing when he wants to be left alone. Huge annoyance.
But then you get these little glimpses underneath. Like with the cat.
Right. He says horrible things to it, but when the neighbor throws stones...
He steps in.
Now, he claims it's just because he dislikes the neighbor more. Which is probably true on one level.
Classic Ove justification.
Exactly. But it's still a protective act, isn't it? However grudgingly done.
And what about that road rage incident? Slowing down deliberately in front of the Mercedes.
Yeah. Getting that little bit of satisfaction when the guy gets stuck at the red light. It's petty, sure.
Definitely petty.
But it's like his own little way of enforcing some kind of justice, maybe. Or just asserting himself against a world he feels is pushy and wrong. His Herculean irritation in the traffic jam, actually getting out of the car.
You can just picture it. Total frustration.
But underneath all that frustration, there are these really strong principles. He hates being tricked.
Like the batteries not included joke. He fell for once.
Exactly. Or how he meticulously checks supermarket offers. It's about fairness.
Which leads to that scene at the garden center. Refusing to pay the 3 kroner surcharge for using a card under 50 kroner.
So he buys 2 plants instead, just on principle.
Because right is right. It's such a core part of him.
It really is. And it connects to why he hates small talk, doesn't it? He feels people are just superficial, out of their minds, he thinks.
Yeah, he contrasts it with his own generation, who he felt, maybe weren't prepared for a world where what people say doesn't match what they do.
He values action, practical skills, doing things properly, not just boasting.
And that seems to go way back to his dad, right? At the railway yard.
Oh, absolutely. That whole experience was foundational, working with his father, learning the value of an honest job.
And the incident with Tom, the stolen briefcase.
That's pivotal. Ove finds the wallet inside, knows it belongs to his dad's boss, essentially, but Tom wants to keep it.
And Ove just refuses, takes it straight to lost property.
Influenced by his father, who just gives him the silent nod of approval later, that's the moment Ove decides. He internalizes it. Right has to be right. He wants to be like his dad.
Such a defining moment. And then losing his father, that must have been devastating.
Huge impact. Left with just the sob, the house, the watch, tangible things, but his happiness gone.
Until Sanja.
Until Sanja. That first time he laughs after his father's death, she literally brings color, the book says, into his black and white existence.
Shows how much connection mattered, even if he seemed to push it away later.
Absolutely. Loss and love, they're the real architects of Ove's personality, I think. So, after Sanja dies, his first instinct is just keep working. Duty.
But then they force him into retirement. Another disruption.
Exactly. And it's against that backdrop, this feeling of uselessness, maybe, that he first tries to, well, end things.
And gets interrupted.
By the youth with the lady's bike parked in the wrong place. Even in that moment, Ove can't help himself. He has to enforce the bike shed rule.
It's almost darkly funny, his rigidity.
It is. And then blonde Weed shows up, complaining about her dog getting electrified on the paving stones. Another confrontation.
He just can't get a moment's peace, even when he most wants it.
And the doorbell. Ringing and ringing. Parvena needing to borrow a ladder, needing help bleeding a radiator. The world just keeps intruding.
You know, thinking about Ove at this point, it's like those character analyses you sometimes hear about in other podcasts or discussions, maybe like on Mindful Moments too. There's so much history under the surface.
Definitely. You see hints of a different past, like him and Rune starting the Residents Association together, fighting the council. They collaborated once.
Before the BMW versus Saab wars started.
Right. Ove's view that you just can't have a reasonable conversation with a BMW owner. It says so much about his stubborn loyalty, his belief in order, his suspicion of anything flashy or maybe disloyal.
And that feeling that expertise and quality aren't valued anymore. Everything's just tech and consultants.
Exactly. Then the second attempt, with the rope snapping, it's almost farcical.
And his reaction is just pragmatic tidying up.
Until he realizes that tidying now would just create more empty gaps, highlighting Sanja's absence even more. That's a really poignant moment.
It is. But we also see that resilience from his past. Building his own house after his father died, screw by screw and floorboard by floorboard.
Yeah, that quiet strength. And the little things, feeding the birds regularly, that silent nod with the elderly neighbor, small connections he allows.
Even his reaction to the burglary later on. He's defiant, blocks the guy's car with the trailer, but afterwards there's this sadness, this tiredness.
It shows the toll it takes, even on someone as outwardly tough as Ove.
Then Parvena really starts breaking through his walls, doesn't she, with the cat?
The cat in the snowdrift, her absolute insistence that they have to help it. And Ove grumbling, I don't get along with cats very well, but he goes along with it.
And suddenly, his house is invaded. Parvena, Jimmy, the cat.
Total chaos for Ove. But he agrees, grudgingly, the cat can stay until it's defrosted. It's a tiny crack opening up.
And then driving Parvana to the hospital when her nose bleeds. The 3-year-old coloring in his pristine sob.
He tries to resist. I'm not some bloody mobility service. But he does it anyway. These forced interactions, they're chipping away at him.
You see real vulnerability start to emerge, too. Like when he agrees to take her kids to visit Patrick in the hospital.
And reads to the 3-year-old. He doesn't want to, complains about doing voices.
But then he kind of gets into it. He's surprised himself.
Yeah. And the encounter with the hospital clown, he hates it, but he goes along with it for the kids.
Well,
the security guards are baffled.
Parvana has to explain him. These moments are really shifting things.
And thinking back to Sanja again, you see how she saw past his exterior from the start, her initiative in asking him out.
The story of the flowers. He just buys pink ones because he has no idea what her favorite is.
And that incredibly vulnerable confession, I just wanted to know what it felt like to be someone you look at. Sanja just accepted him.
Their whole life together was built on her seeing that vulnerability, maybe.
I think so. Even something mundane like the prepaid card Sanja insisted on, now it's useless, just reinforcing his skepticism about banks and electronics. But it's also another reminder of her.
The interruptions just keep coming, don't they? He tries again, this time on the train platform.
And ends up impulsively saving the man who falls onto the tracks. It's like his basic decency, his instinct to act, overrides everything else, even his own despair.
And the cat shows up again right after. Almost like fate won't let him be alone.
It does feel that way. Then the visit to Sanja's father. Gruff old man, long journey.
But they connect over the sob, offers to look at it, gets enthusiastic even.
Yeah.
A shared purpose.
And Parvana finds him again by the cat-shaped hole in the snow, demanding he help the poor creature. He's physically distressed, doesn't want women or cats in his house, but she just pushes through.
Community is really forming around him, whether he likes it or not. Jimmy's cheerfulness.
Ove's weary responses, Parvana worrying Jimmy's smothering the cat, but then Jimmy mentions Sanja's cooking.
And Ove has that fleeting moment of, not anger, a memory.
Yeah. The cat thaws, literally and maybe metaphorically. He agrees to drive them, protesting about not driving into the block.
And Parvana gives him that dramatic reply in Farsi. He doesn't understand the words, but he gets the meaning.
He does. We see memories of Sanja loving her cat, Ernest, and Ove just accepting it, like he accepted so much because of her.
And the history with Rune and Anita, kicking tires together, then the conflict over heating systems, lawnmowers.
Shared history turning sour, feeling like relics in a changing neighborhood.
Then Adrian shows up, needing help with a bike for a girl he likes.
And Ove launches into a tirade about French cars, but still helps him fix the bike. He just can't seem to stop helping, despite himself.
Which leads to that major turning point. The man in the white shirt threatening to take Rune away.
That galvanizes Ove. He's not going to stand for bureaucratic nonsense hurting someone he has a history with, even a complicated one.
And suddenly he's leading this unlikely alliance of neighbors. Parvana, Jimmy, Adrian, Anita, even Lena, the journalist.
Showing the council's failings. Ove, unexpectedly defending Rune, defending their way of life, maybe. The white shirt guy retreats. It's a real victory.
And Adrian keeps hanging around.
Ugh.
Ove grudgingly accepts him. The thank you letter, the photo.
Going up on the fridge next to the kid's drawing. Small signs of Ove letting the world in. The neighborhood now relies on him.
He's become essential. And these unexpected bonds keep forming. Like with Mirsad, the young guy from the cafe.
Sharing an inspection round, connecting over Mirsad's personal struggles, Ove offering quiet support.
And overhearing that conversation between Patrick and his son in Ovi's own kitchen about courage. It's like his house has become a center for the community's life.
Then the birthday party invitation for Parvana's daughter. The 7-year-old wants an iPad.
Oh, the irony. The very thing he distrusts.
But he sees that something shining in her eyes. He recognizes that desire.
So the trip to buy the iPad, Jimmy's all excited about the tech.
Ove is skeptical. The sales assistant is exasperated again. But then that moment of connection.
He understands her excitement. It reminds him of how he felt about his first sob.
Yes. And he buys it for her. A truly heartfelt gift. The hug he gets. It's a breakthrough moment. Pure generosity.
It really feels like, despite everything, despite wanting solitude, his life ended up being incredibly full of connection.
Absolutely. Even his heart attack brings the community together. Parvana fiercely protective at the hospital, everyone rallying around.
His impact was huge.
Yeah.
And his final moments. Parvana's emotional goodbye, whispering to Sanja for him. Finding the letter he left for Parvana.
It brings it all full circle. Closure. Highlighting how much those unexpected connections truly meant to him in the end. Even the cat finding comfort with Parvana shows life continuing, memories being preserved.
So, yeah. We start off thinking about that initial impression. Grumpy, solitary, set in his ways. But diving into these moments, you see so much more. A man with, yes, deep values, fierce loyalties, but also the surprising hard-won capacity for connection.
And how small actions, interruptions, seemingly annoying neighbors, they all ended up weaving this rich community fabric around him.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? About judging books by their covers or people by their initial grumpiness.
It absolutely does. It reminds us that those first impressions can be so wrong. And sometimes the people who seem most resistant are the ones who, underneath it all, need connection the most.
Well, we hope this exploration has given you something to think about. We definitely encourage you to subscribe if you enjoyed this and want more explorations like it.
Yeah, and maybe share this with someone else who appreciates looking deeper into characters or just enjoys a really good story.
And if you haven't read it, consider purchasing A Man Called Ove. We'll put a link where you can find it. It's truly worth experiencing the full story.
Definitely.
And most importantly, maybe just take a moment to think critically, like we've tried to do today, about the people you meet. You never know what stories might be hidden behind their facade.